Hi everyone, I'm Keena Murray. In today's Arizona Gravel Monkey video, we're going to go over master title plats, what they are, how and why you can and should use them. They're a very useful tool for looking into land ownership and mineral ownership of lands. So if you're going to be out staking claims, this is very important to know about. So first, let's look at what the definition of the master title plat is. So I pulled it up over here, just did a Google search, and it says master title plat is a graphic depiction of a land status maintained by the Bureau of Land Management, BLM, that shows a history of land transfers and current ownership and jurisdiction of federal lands. So the important part is it's showing the lands coming in and going out of federal ownership and who has them now. It also shows mineral ownership if you know what to look for. So let's delve into this a little bit more. Master title plats are found on the GLO website. That's the General Land Office website, which is part of BLM now. GLO was its own entity years ago, but it merged with the grazing services to create BLM. So let's go look at the BLM website for GLO. How do you get there? Well, we can just type in GLO BLM, hit search, and you'll get to the website, GLO BLM, right here. Okay, here's the main page. And this page has a lot of useful information. You have stuff on land patents, survey plats, field notes, and land status records. Now this is where you'll usually find your master title plats, is in the land status records. We also got track books, control document index, catalog. This is also a useful tool. Now, in order to use the master title plats or find the master title plat you're looking for, you need to know your legal land description. If you don't know your legal land description, you won't be able to find your master title plat. You need to know at least the township and range. So one way to get the township and range is either go to the MLRS research map and look it up there, or you can go down to the bottom of the page to land catalog, and you can use this link to open a map in here and find your township and range if you know which area you're looking in. So let's try that. We'll look into the land catalog. Okay, and we'll zoom in to Arizona. I'm in Arizona, so we're going to look in the Arizona area. So I'm using my mouse just to scroll into the area. We'll go over by Wickenburg or something like that. There's a little bit of delay. So now we're starting to see the township and range here. So if you already know which area you're at, you can say, oh, it's in 7 north, 6 west, or something like that. We're going to look a little closer. We're going to go into this one today. Look in 5 north and 7 west. So you might want to write down your township and range, so then you can go back to the GLO website and plug that in when you're doing your search. So let's go to the GLO website. Looks like I might have to open a new, oh, here we go. Yeah, I'll have to open a new site. So we'll type in BLM, GLO, or GLO BLM. Should get you the same page. Now we're going to go into the land status records. Select location and make sure you're in LSR here. It should be in LSR because you checked land status records. Go to Arizona, go down to Maricopa, and we said 5 north, 7 west, and select your meridian. Arizona, it's primarily the Gila and Salt River Meridian. Most states have 1 or 2 meridians, some have 3. you'll have to figure out which meridian is applicable to the area you're at. And for document type, go down to Master Title Plat and hit Search Land Status. So your Master Title Plat will show up here. It's a link. You click on that link, give it a second, and it usually pops up. Now, we've got an error. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it has something to do with the government shutdown. Hit OK, get out of there. Hit Basic Viewer, see if that comes up. That's an error. Okay, we've got another option. Let's hit Full Screen Viewer, see if that comes up. Alright, so here we have our Master Title Plat for Township 5 North, 7 West. We can print this out as a PDF or save it as PDF or a JPEG, but it's sort of hard to see. You can scroll in like this, but what's useful to do sometimes is this will open it into its own window if you click on this spot right here. So we'll open it up. So now it's huge. And we can zoom in with the scroll bar, look around, and we're going to look at some of these things on here and decipher what they mean. So looking up here first, you'll notice I'm in section 2. It says SG. SG is state grant. When Arizona became a state back in 1914, the Enabling Act gave Arizona several sections per township. It was 2, 16, 32, and 36. So you'll notice in a lot of Arizona townships you're going to see in 2, 16, 32, and 36 this state grant. And you can say it shows up as 1919. Here's state grant for section 16, and we'll scroll down here, 32. You can see that has state grant in it, and 36 also. So those are the state grants. Now things to note is these thick lines here denote that the land has been given away to the state or has been transferred in a patent and sold to someone or given to someone. Some of these are given away from stock raising homestead acts, things like that. And what you like to look for is the ones where the lines are thin, which means BLM or the federal government most likely owns both the surface and minerals. Now some things you'll see is if they gave the land away or sold the land or something like that, is you'll see often DC. What that means is that in the case of this area right here, ditches and canals were reserved to the federal government, but all other rights transferred over. And in this case, they transferred to the state government. And you're like, well, it doesn't say SG here. Well, IL is called an indemnity list. And what happens there was that in some of the townships in Arizona, either section 2, 16, 32, or 36 were not available to be given to the state. So the state was allowed to choose land in other townships to make up for that. And these 4 right here, you can see this box right around here, are 4 sections that were chosen. So they were they're also considered in lieu. Indemnity list, in lieu lands, same thing. You'll see a lot of things on here. This right here, dashed with C, that usually refers to a communications corridor. And these numbers right here, these are the lease numbers associated with the communications corridor as it crosses the federal land. You notice these are the thin lines, so this is federal land. And you'll notice that the communication corridor abruptly stops when it comes into the state trust land right here. And that's because we're only cataloging or adding to the master title plat the stuff that affects federal land. And so these, as well as this road here, this is a road, and it was probably a right-of-way, federal government right-of-way, 65 feet wide, that comes across here. And again, since this is not part of federal lands or the public domain, they're not included in the right-of-way technically. But the road probably does come through, and the same with the communication line probably comes through here too. Now here you have AZA 31727. Again, that's a BLM case file number, 12.5 foot. Not sure exactly what that is. That might be a communication tower or a small tower of some sort. Might be a, I don't know, well site, who knows. You'd have to look this up specifically, and you can do that in MLRS. Put this number in there and find out what that is. Same with all these numbers. You can plug those into the MLRS website, which is BLM's database, and find out the numbers. So that's the basic reading of these plats. Now, if you're like wondering, how do I find out what these symbols mean? There are several places where you can download tutorials or just examples of these. So let me take you to one of the places that is very useful. Also, the abbreviations SG, DC, IL, those are also kept on different websites you can find. But I'll show you one website I like to use. Hold on a second. It's called the Land Matters. So we'll go here. This is a nonprofit educational group. I do not endorse or sponsor this group or get paid from them for any of this. I'd say most of the data I've seen on here is fairly accurate and on cue. So if you're looking for some information, this might be a good spot to go to. But we were talking about downloading something to help you interpret the maps, the master title plats, and also the abbreviations that you see on them. So we can go in here, Land Matters Tutorials. We're on the tutorials page, go under land status, slide down here, and here's one right here, reading master title plats. So we'll click on that. It opens up or saves a guide, a PDF guide onto your downloads. You can open that up. There we go. Close a few things out so we can see it better. So this shows the majority of symbols and graphic descriptions that you're going to find on a master title plat. So we'll zoom in a little bit. Looks like you got to hit Control and then scroll. So you've got pipeline here, and these are just examples. This isn't an actual master title plat. You got telephone lines, another type of telephone line. You got ditches and canals here, flume, power line transmission. These are just roads right here in the center. This is just an invaluable tool to figuring out what you're seeing on your master title plats. So if you're opening up a master title plat, I'd say have one of these printed out or have it open on the computer so you can jump back and forth and see what's going on. You'll notice some of the master title plats will have multiple I guess patents and reservations on the bottom like this. Usually they're read from bottom to top, so the bottom is the oldest, top is youngest, sort of like in geology. Top is usually youngest material, oldest is on bottom. And you can see this is reserved ditches and canal and coal. This is a patent number right here, 674580, oil and gas. geothermal, I think that's what that is. Um, so you've got a lot of things going on here. This one reserved all the minerals, this oil and gas and coal. So again, I would use this sheet, and you can get this downloaded from Land Matters. There's probably other places you can find the same sheet or something similar. Another thing you can find on this page is a list of common BLM abbreviations, which you can download the same way. You just click on that, gives you a PDF, saves in your downloads, and here's all the abbreviations. So we'll go to SG, which was state grant. Oh my goodness. SG state grant, right here. Oops. Go up to IL indemnity list. Here's IL indemnity list, state land, so that more state trust land related. So this has all the normal ones that you're going to find on your master title plats. Ditches and canals, that's really common. Seemed like that was a big thing to reserve back in the day. I've never realized how often it was until I started looking at these things. HE, Homestead Entry, that's like Stock Raising Homestead Act, Taylor Grazing Act, things like that, where we gave away the land to homesteaders. Alright, well, let's get back to the master title plat itself. I'll minimize this. So again, Land Matters, very useful website. Might have to reopen it. I think I closed. Oh no, here it is. So this was the website, or the GLO Master Title Plat. Here is the larger one. So let's just scroll down here a little bit, look at some of the other stuff. You'll find down here in section 31 we got, and in section 29, some interesting things going on. Section 32, again, that's state grants. Section 29, you have a patent for this little tiny piece. So this is a 40 acres portion. We reserved, or the United States reserved, ditches and canal and FIS, which I believe is fissionable materials. So like uranium and things like that. So they must have thought they've seen or found something in there. But these people, whoever got this patent, owns the surface. The rest of this land is all federal still. Down here we have AZA 3943 FUP. This is a BLM case number, and FUP stands for Free Use Permit. I don't normally see free use permits on master title plats. We see community pits often, but free use permit's a little bit different than a community pit. But you can actually use this number and look it up through MLRS and see what it was associated with. Right here you see the dark line right here. So this is a patent number we reserved to the U.S. Ditches and Canals. This looks like it's a mineral patent, this odd shape here, and also because it says MS, which stands for Mineral Survey. So this is under Mineral Survey 3286. If we want to, we can look up this patent number, and I'll show you how. We can't do it through this page right here, but we go back to the original page, not the one we pulled and blew up. It's 1122588. Let's see if we can get back. That's not the one I wanted. Here it is. So if we go into, here's your master title plat, we can go into related documents, and usually you're going to find your patent documents associated with this township in here. So we'll go in here, we've got a list of patents. Here's 1122588. So that's where they reserve the right to fissionable materials, or the U.S. reserved the right to fissionable materials. We'll go in and look at that. This says Land Office Phoenix Reservation. I mean, we have some sort of reservation, mineral reservation. This was the case file number associated with this patent. We can look at the patent image itself, which is always interesting. And these are historical documents that have been scanned. And you can read through here and see exactly what was reserved, what wasn't reserved, what the land description is, things like that associated with that patent. So here's where they give the surface of the land to them. Subject to any accrued or existing mining rights, agriculture, blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to the reservations. So this is accepting and reserving to the United States all uranium, thorium, or any material which may be determined to be particularly essential to the production of fissionable materials. So that's the fission reservation. All right. And it was signed by President Truman. You can see his actual signature here. All right. Let's just back out. Sometimes this is tricky. You need to back out. Just hit back. Oh, let's go into land status records. So that's a basic look at one. We can go into a little more detail here with the mineral survey. So we have mineral survey 3286, and we also have a patent here too, 772925. Let's take a quick peek at the patent real fast. 772925. See if we can pull that up. Here's 772925. These are the people that got the land. This is a description of the land over here. We can go in here. We can pull up the image here. We can zoom in. You got to hit control and then scroll. Control and then scroll, and then you got the slide bars down here. And this describes, it looks like, yeah, all the mineral claims that were associated with that patent. So it's mineral survey 3286. We can look at that later. Let's go to related documents, see what's in here. This is just the patent. Let's go back to the surveys. So we should have some sort of mineral survey. Here's the mineral survey. What's good about this is the mineral survey will give you a really good map of where those patented claims are. Now, if they've been patented, that means that they've been given or sold to someone else. They're not under control of the federal government right now. So the mineral survey should show you where those are. A lot of times they have these really cool old maps because these were done a long time ago. At this moment, the federal government is not issuing any patents for minerals or anything else like that. So you can't get a patent right now. Let's look at the plat image. It's not showing up. Let's try a basic viewer down here. That's not showing up. So, you know, you might just need to go through these, hit full screen viewer, see what happens. Okay, here we go. And you'll notice we've got two sheets. Now, we are in section 31, and this looks like it's This one we can just scroll and move around. Section 31 is up here, and this is section 6. So really, if we look at our original patent, we're in section 31, so we want to look for this piece right here. We're not going to see it in that image. Let's go back. So this is section 6, so we need to probably go to the next sheet, section 2, or sheet number 2. Okay, here we go. So if you look at the outline of the mineral patent in our master title plat, it's like comes down here, pokes up here through furlough number 10, comes down here, crosses over a little bit, and comes down. So this portion is section 31. So you can see there's a lot of detail on here and description. So it actually looks like these have been surveyed in great detail, and you can find the corner posts and things like that. So let's check to see if that sort of matches what we're seeing on the master title plat. Yep. So this would be furlough, I think, number 10, and these are like 3 other ones that come down into the section below. All right. We'll get out of this. I'm going to go back home.